Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir Selling Gods video. In today's video, I'm going to show you a team for the Grishnaar Continental Challenge boss, which is arguably the easiest one to face out there. And it's a crazy one because I'm only using one support that we all get for free for this fight, and I can still blast it. So let's get into this one. Now, as always, before I jump in the video, I do want to mention that if you want to support me as a content creator, you can use the code OddOne that you see over there at the top. Costs you nothing, helps me a ton. But let's jump into the fight. Actually, no, let me just back out again, first of all, so I can show you exactly what this boss does, what you need and all of that. But pretty much it says the crit damage dealt by allies is increased by 100%. So obviously you're going to try and get people in this fight that actually benefit from crit damage. So nothing that is derivative damage. No thunderbolt, no poison, no wild would do, I mean, they would work, but they would just, don't think they would be ideal. Obviously, this is still like day one when I'm recording, so, there might be some testing, some crazy stuff might come out. But before that, like I said, there's going to be, it's so easy. This team is going to be so easy, it's going to blow your mind a bit. The other stuff says, each time a buff is dispelled from or blocked on an enemy, allies gain one undispellable stack of 10% attack up, lasting indefinitely, stacks up to 10 stacks. So what you want to do in this fight is make sure you get somebody that dispels the buffs or blocks them. And honestly, we're going to be using somebody that dispels the buffs, and it's arguably one of the easiest, and actually not arguably, 100% the easiest one to do that, and that's going to be Gishnar, right? Because she does have on her ultimate thing that she does damage, dispels all their buffs, reduces their ultimate energy, and then places frozen and attack penalty. So Gishnar, the free legendary that we all got in season 1, is just the queen of this fight. She is gonna be my solo support. As you can see over here, she's the only support in this fight. And then after that, we are using 4 ice blast people, which obviously makes this fight be extremely easy. Now, there is a certain level of RNG that can happen where, if Gishnar does get some bad RNG, she doesn't remove the buffs or doesn't land the attack penalty or whatnot, it can be difficult and the boss might actually be able to kill us a bit early. However, even with that, you know what? You just run it a few times, considering the fact that we only have to do this once a week, right? This specific fight, because you can do 2 in the first week, 4 in the second week, and then you have 6 in the third week. This should be pretty easy, right? Should be pretty easy. And as you can see, Gishnar is my only tank as well. It's like she's the perfect one, right? She's the #1 best support for this fight. Now, there's also a little interesting thing. It's kind of like a little bit, let's call it a cheat code. There's something that can make this fight be so easy, because you might notice I don't have any healer in the team, right? I have no healer. I have no shielder. The only shield that happens from time to time is the one from the, what's it called? The other buff, or however, I have no idea what that is. It's the buff that we get from the island, right? The island gives you the option of 3 buffs. Well, the one with the shield is the one that I'm using in this fight, and it works just fine. Okay, that was some bad RNG again. For some reason, it's the stupid 3% that happens from time to time. Gishnar did not remove it. However, luckily, those buffs fell off before, before Grishnaar does his ultimate that does the full board attack. But you see how easy it is, right? You see how easy it is. You see how easy we, do the damage. We're slowly healing up. And like I said, there's a little bit of a small thing that's extremely helpful that, like I said, it's kind of like a cheat code, but there's something that you can do that allows you to heal without having to have a healer in this team, and that's going to be a talent, right? I specifically changed some stuff for this fight, so I have that talent that allows me to be able to heal every time I use Ice Crystal, right? That's going to be for all Ice Blast people. Whenever they consume Ice Crystals, they're going to be getting themselves healing based off of their attack. I can't think he's gonna die. Yep, I can't expect it, but still, I'm at 254 million, right? 200 million is the kind of like the max, and then after that you do 90% less damage. But still, if you look at this, I only have 1 support in Gishnar, then I have Sheena, Beldel, Zorak, and then Bledin as damage dealers. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that this fight would work with 4 epics as well, and you would still easily get 200 million. But you know what? I don't know, it just blows my mind. I'm so happy about this team. And arguably, like I said, I think this is going to be the easiest one to do. Now, again, we're going to be doing more testing on all the other fights. I'm quite sure there's going to be some stuff where people will come with 500 million damage on other bosses. But for like, you know, day one of testing, this one's the easiest. Let me just show you the timings. I'm also hopefully going to remember to put the team code in the description of the video. So make sure you check that one out, because I know most of the time people want to see that. But the timings are going to be as follows. So first one's going to be Bledin, because he's the one that does the triple hit, and he's going to be the Witch's Remains. That's the only reason he's in the fight. He goes first. Then it's going to be Zorak at 12.1. There's going to be Sheena at 12.2, and then Beldel at 12.5, and then every 18 seconds. When it comes to Vinyara, she's just going full YOLO. No timings for her. She does her job just fine. Now, obviously, I'm going to be looking into this, see if I can improve it more. I'm going to try and min-max it. And if I get like, you know, something that gets it better, that makes it good to get to like 300 million, or some other stuff that makes it be better, I'm going to make an updated video on that. When it comes to elemental affinities, do I have the max stuff at tier 5, and then tier 6, I just have 1 elemental damage bonus. That's about it. But now let's have a look at the builds that I have on all of these people, because they're pretty interesting. So first of all, as I always start, I go at the talent. So the talent that I'm talking about, that all 4 of your Ice Blast people should have, just to make sure that they survive, is going to be this one, Recreate. Each time Ice Crystal is consumed, the hero restores 35% attack HP. So obviously, they're going to be healing up a ton. Make sure they just have a lot of attack. Then Vinyara, I kind of went like this. This one's really important, right? The extend duration of debuffs by 2 seconds, really important, because otherwise, you saw that we removed the boss from Grishnar. We put that attack down, but we also put the recharge speed penalty on him. Now, with the recharge speed penalty, the boss is going to go, you know, it's going to take him more than 9 seconds, going to go over 10 seconds till he does the ultimate between his battle skill, let's call it. And because of that reason, the attack down is going to fall off. However, we're having this extension by another 2 seconds, guarantees us that the boss has the attack down when he does the ultimate. This one's really important. And then I chose to go with this one just to give, you know, just to give her a little bit more energy, ultimate energy, but I don't think it really, well, actually, let me read it again. When inflicting a negative effect, okay, it works. So every time she does a ult, she's gonna get a little bit more ultimate energy. So this kind of allows her to rotate that ultimate very well. Then Beldel, like I mentioned, same principle. Oh yeah, I didn't even change for Beldel. That's weird. What did I do? How is she healing? She's somehow surviving. I didn't even change it for her. And you know what? It still works. Have it over here, but you're gonna see Zorak, I went over here, and then same thing with Sheena. But then the other thing to keep in mind, you want to have Condensing Ice, the one at the top, combined with this one, because you're gonna be overflowing on ice crystals, and you don't want to lose them completely. You want to do some damage off it. You know, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper in this because it's really important. But now let's have a look at the gears. So like I mentioned, Bledin's gonna be the one holding the Witch's Remains. Then he's also wearing Puppeteer's Inspiration. This one works beautifully because guess what? We have 5 ice people in the team. So this is gonna boost everybody, which means we're gonna have lower ultimate recharge times. And then, you know, we're gonna do our skills more often. Also complemented his build with an Ancestral Guidance, just so that he heals up a bit more based off of, you know, his basic attacks. Because, you know what, it's kind of hard for him to heal. You see that he also dies, so, you know, it's really important. This one, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe this one should swap from HP percent to a crit rate, but I have a feeling that actually this HP percent kind of keeps him alive, right? I'm going to test out with maybe more attack or something, but I feel like for now this worked because it kept him alive. Then if you look at Vinyara, she's going to be in the Ancestral Protection because she's going to be the one soaking up some of the damage that Grishnar does, right? He does that full board AoE. It's pretty hard hitting one, even with the attack down. So this is going to allow us to survive. So I just gave her, you know, the tankiness. I also gave her the Strike the Unprepared, even though I don't really think this matters. I think maybe the smart thing to do for me would be to just swap it out with Devout Prayer. She doesn't do full board shield, but she does do shield from time to time to, you know, whoever has the lowest HP. And I think most of the time it's gonna be Beldel. So maybe that's a smart idea because obviously she doesn't do a ton of damage. So, you know, maybe let me just do that now and I'm gonna run it at the end, see how it actually looks. But after that, I also gave her the Rift Hourglass. So she has more skill haste, obviously more accuracy. I'm a bit overkill on the accuracy, but you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that works just fine. Now another thing that I could test is I could try and give her the Witch's Remains and then put Bladin in a more damage build, but it might not be reliable enough that we have the Witch's Remains because Gishnar only does one single hit on their ultimate, whereas Bladin does 3 hits, and it's only a 60% chance to land per hit. So that's why, it's it's really important to keep this in mind, because otherwise, you might try and do it on somebody and you're like, why is my Witch's Remains not landing as much? That's the reason. Okay, next one's gonna be Beldel. She has the Blooms of Prina. Obviously, if you have her exclusive artifact, go ahead with that. I don't have it, so I just went with this. Then she has a crit damage glove, attack percent chest, and then obviously Fearless Challenge and Bloodshade Mark. But it's really important to have Strike the Unprepared, and it's really important to have Fearless Challenge and Bloodshade Mark on your main damage dealers, because that makes them do more damage. Now, ideally, if you had a better crit rate glove, right, in the Strike the Unprepared or something, whatever gives her the most crit rate, it's better, because Beldel benefits on having more crit rate, especially when you have those stacks of Ice Crystal, because she converts 300% of excess crit rate into crit damage. So as an example, let's say you have 10 crit rate over the 100%, she's gonna get 30 crit damage off of that. So, it kind of benefits to give her more crit rate than crit damage, but try to have a balance between crit damage and attack, and crit rate still make sure it's 100%. Then next one's gonna be Sheena. I just gave her the, what's this one called again? Whisper of the Consumer, just, another artifact that gives me crit damage and some attack, and that's what I pretty much had. Crit rate glove in Strike the Unprepared, attack percent chest in Imposing Presence, because, you know what? They're gonna be getting to 100% HP, so this does help her to do like, 25% more damage. You saw she did like 25% of the total damage, and Beldel did 59. That's pretty respectable considering most of the team is built around Beldel. Again, she does have Fearless Challenge and then Bloodshade Mark, so she gets most of the attack, so she gets like 20% attack from the ally with the highest attack. And then we have Zorak at the end with the Titan Rib Cage, right? Let me just remove that. So the Titan Rib, because this one is gonna give us that 15% damage boost every time the boss does the ultimate, and we resist that debuff, the defense penalty that the boss puts, we get a 15% damage bonus. Obviously, I complemented that with the resistance negative rune just to make sure that I have enough resist to resist that. And now on as well, he has Brotherhood Spirit, because he's mostly an enabler in this fight, and that's what you need. But then I also gave him an attack percent glove in the Strike the Unprepared. I kind of wanted to give him as much attack as possible, so when they get attacked from somebody else, they get it from him that has the highest. So this one, let's say it's 6,000. Beldel's gonna get 1,200 attack. Sheena's gonna get 1,200 attack because of this one, right? Now, another quirky thing that I could try is maybe I could try and build, what's her name, Gishnar with like full-on attack, and with the, organ pipe, because it might work. She brings lots of survivability to herself, because she puts shield, she puts defense up, and that might work. As long as you can get enough accuracy for her to land the debuff, which is gonna be, I think it's 200, let me see. Okay, so we need 260, but you take 50 that you get from the 3-man synergy, so you need 210 accuracy. As long as you do that, maybe we can try and like give her as much attack as possible and see how it goes. But let me just run this. What changed I did? I did a change. Oh yeah, I put the different glove on Gishnar. Let me just do a combat simulation. Let's see how much damage do we actually do. Is it gonna be a lot more than 250 million, or is it just gonna be the same? I'm really curious if it's a big difference. No, really, it just pretty much looks the same, and it kind of looks like we all died towards the end. But that's pretty much the team, right? That's pretty much the team. It's really easy, right? It's really easy team, because it only uses Gishnar as the support, which we all have, and then 4 Ice Blast people, and we're just destroying poor Grishnar. Now, I guess that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.